Hello students, welcome to my educational channel EasyEd. Now today we will discuss pteridophytes. Pteridophytes general characters. Pteridophytes include horsetails and ferns. Pteridophytes are used for medicinal purposes and as soil binders. Frequently, they are grown as ornamentals. Ornamentals means show plants. Frequently, pteridophytes are grown as ornamentals. Now, important character we'll see here for the first time. Pteridophytes contain vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. Vascular tissues here understand that for the transportation of food and water. See, evolution is taking place. Since now we have studied plant body is thalloid. Now here in pteridophytes, plant body is differentiated into roots, stems and leaves. Though not very tall, they have some height. And for the transportation of water and food material, vascular tissues, vessels are needed, and pteridophytes show vascular tissues. Xylem is for the transportation of water and phloem is for the transportation of food, that is minerals. So here you can see evolutionarily pteridophytes are the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular tissues. See, we have studied algae is in moist and damp places in water. Bryophytes, you have studied that they are the amphibians of plant kingdom. See, the evolution is taking place. Early life forms in plants, then evolution took place. Secondarily, what happened? They can continue in both water as well as land. Some part of their life cycle is completed in water and some on land. Now here we have pteridophytes as the first terrestrial plants. Okay. See, the evolution is taking place, and to compensate this evolution, structural evolution has also been taken place. So here we will see vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. About this you will study further. Here just we have to understand and learn that pteridophytes show vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem. Next character, pteridophytes are found in cool, damp and shady places, though some may flourish well in sandy soil conditions also, but only some. Mostly they are found in cool, damp and shady places. Now see here the evolution. Main plant body of pteridophytes is sporophyte. See, sporophyte here is the dominant phase of life cycle. We have studied in bryophytes that the dominant phase of life cycle is gametophyte. But here see evolution. See, that is why these are kept in the specific order. First you have studied algae, it was primitive. Then bryophytes advancing. Now pteridophytes, more advancement. See, now here the main plant body is sporophyte. That means the sporophyte is the dominant phase of the life cycle, and this sporophyte is well differentiated into true roots, stems and leaves. Remember, in bryophytes we have studied that root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures are present. They are not true roots, stems and leaves. But here advancement has taken place in pteridophytes, and the plant body in pteridophytes is differentiated into roots, stems and leaves, and that too it is true root, stem and leaf. I will show you a picture of some pteridophytes. See, this is fern. As I told you earlier that they are grown for the ornamental purpose. You might have seen this kind of plant in most of the houses in gardening. It is an ornamental plant. It is fern and it is a pteridophyte. It has leaf-like leaves. It has roots and it has a stem also. Similarly, another pteridophyte you can see, Selaginella. Selaginella has somewhat strong stems, broad stems. Then see Audantium. It is also having leaf, and see Sporangium is there. These leaves are there, and see this stem is shown here. Now you see some more plants. Lycopodium, you can see here leaves are present, though picture is not very clear. Leaves are present. See here, roots are present. Okay. Similarly, see Equisetum, very strong stem is there. These are leaves. These are roots. Again, Marsilia, leaves are there, stems are there, roots are there. See, roots are there. So, from pteridophytes you can see the plant body is differentiated into roots, stems and leaves. And now listen carefully here. Leaves in pteridophytes is of two types. Listen carefully. In pteridophytes, leaves may be small or large. The smaller ones are called microphylls and the larger ones are called macrophylls. Okay. So in pteridophytes we can have leaves may be either microphylls or macrophylls. They may be small or they may be large. Example, microphylls are present in Selaginella and macrophylls, large leaves, are present in ferns. I have just shown you the diagram. See, macrophylls. Okay, macrophylls are there, and see Selaginella. Small leaves are there. Though not very clear, very small leaves are there. They are microphylls. Okay. Now next, sporophyte bear sporangia. You remember sporangia? Spore bearing bodies. So sporophytes bear sporangia that are subtended by leaf-like appendages. Okay, and they are called as sporophylls, means the leaf-like appendages which carry the sporangia. Sporangia means the spore bearing body. They are called as sporophylls. Means what are sporophylls? Sporophylls are the small leaf-like appendages which bear sporangia. That means spore bearing bodies. In some cases, sporophylls may form distinct compact structure called as strobili or cones. Okay. In some cases, these sporophylls form cones. If you ever remember, cones or strobili are present in pteridophytes. And what are these cones and sporophytes? See, I have shown you the picture just now. This is sporophyte of Lycopodium. This particular structure, see, it is a cone-like structure. It is a cone-like structure. It is strobili or cone. See, in Equisetum, it is a cone-like structure. So, in some cases, what happens? The sporophylls may form distinct compact structures called as cones or strobili. Example, Selaginella and Equisetum. In equisetum, just now I have shown you cone-like structure formed by sporophylls. And you all know sporangia, they produce spores. Remember bryophyte also, spores are formed by the meiosis. So here also spores are produced by reduction division, that is meiosis, in spore mother cells. Means there are some specific cells known as spore mother cells. They undergo meiosis resulting in the form of spores, and these spores now are haploid. Okay. Just after these general characters, we will study the reproduction life cycle. In that you can understand it more properly. So sporangia produce spores by meiosis in spore mother cells. These spores then germinate and form a new plant. And what is that? That is gametophyte. Spores germinate to form gametophyte, and gametophyte here is inconspicuous, is small but multicellular, free-living, photosynthetic, that means green, and thalloid in nature. And this gametophyte is called as prothallus. So listen properly. Spores germinate to form gametophyte, and this gametophyte is known as prothallus. And what is the nature of this gametophyte or prothallus? It is inconspicuous, small, multicellular. See, advancement has taken place. Multicellularity is there. It is free living. Free living means photosynthetic, that means green in color. Photosynthetic, free living, and free living means it is not dependent on any other part of the life cycle. And it is thalloid. It is independent to produce its food, and its nature is thalloid. Means gametophyte is a thalloid and is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. It is a thalloid structure. Now this gametophyte requires cool, damp and shady places to grow. This gametophyte, prothallus of Pteridophyta, will grow in cool, damp and shady places. Now here pay attention, as it requires such a specific condition for its growth. So because of this specific restricted requirement and need for water for fertilization, spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to narrow geographical regions. So an answer to a question why pteridophytes are limited or restricted to a narrow geographical condition. What is the answer? Because the gametophyte, which is further going to produce a sporophyte. Okay. So gametophyte of pteridophytes requires cool, damp and shady places to grow. And because of this specific restricted requirement, and one more important thing, need for water for fertilization, means here fertilization takes place in water. Fertilization dependency on water. Because of all these reasons, spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to a narrow geographical regions. Alright, now continuing with the general characters, now we will study the life cycle of pteridophytes. So life cycle, I have drawn a chart for you. It will be very easy for you to understand as well as remember if you understand this chart, or you can also learn by this chart. See, plant body, the gametophyte. The gametophyte of the pteridophytes, it bears male and female sex organs. See, this is you are studying sexual reproduction as well as life cycle. How does it goes on? So, gametophyte of pteridophytes bear male and female sex organs. They are called antheridia and archegonia. If you remember bryophytes, there also it was the same. See, male sex organ is antheridia and female sex organ is archegonia. Now what will happen? Antheridia means male sex organ will produce male gametes and archegonia, female sex organ, will produce female gametes. So these antheridia produces antherozoites, which are male gametes, and archegonia produces female gamete, which is called as egg. Now what happens? These antherozoites means male gametes are released from antheridia, that is male sex organ, and now they are antherozoites are produced in antheridia and now they are released, and now they will require water for their transfer. Okay, they require medium of water. Through water, these antherozoites will reach the mouth of archegonium. Antherozoites, male gametes, will be produced by the male sex organ antheridia and they will be released from antheridia. Now through water, using water as medium, they will travel to the mouth of archegonium, that is female sex organ. They will enter archegonia, which is bearing egg, that is female gamete. Now here the fertilization takes place, fusion takes place. Antherozoid fuses with egg, male gamete fuses with female gamete. Now fusion of male and gamete, that is fertilization, results in the formation of zygote. Okay, male and female gamete will fuse to form zygote, and here where this fertilization will take place? It will take place in archegonium, that is female reproductive organ, female sex organ. Inside the archegonium, fertilization will take place and zygote will be formed. Now this zygote, here see advancement again, produces embryo. Now zygote, we have studied that it grows into the sporophyte in bryophyta. Now here one more stage is present, and what is that? Zygote produces what? Embryo. Okay, intermediate stage. Zygote forms embryo, and this embryo then forms sporophyte. Alright, so we can say that zygote forms a well differentiated multicellular sporophyte. Well differentiated means just now we have studied the sporophyte bears true roots, stems and leaves. So zygote forms embryo, embryo develops to form the sporophyte. Sporophyte here is multicellular and well differentiated into root, shoot, stems and leaves. And this sporophyte is the dominant phase in the pteridophytes. Remember, in bryophytes, gametophyte is the dominant phase. Now, here understand one thing. First I will complete the life cycle and then I will explain that. Now, inside this sporophyte, inside this sporophyte, just now we have studied it, bears sporangium. Inside the sporangium, spore mother cells are present. Spore mother cells will undergo meiosis to form spores, and this spores will develop into gametophyte, a new plant body. See, gametophyte is haploid, male and female sex organs, male and female gametes are haploid. Haploid fertilize to form zygote, diploid. Zygote forms embryo, diploid. Embryo forms sporophyte, diploid. Inside the sporophyte, spore mother cells will undergo reduction division, that is meiosis. Now haploid spores will be formed, and these haploid spores will now again form a new gametophyte which is haploid in condition. Now one more important and different thing here. This is life cycle, hope you all understand. Here now these spores which are produced by the sporophyte, okay, sporophyte produces spores. Now about something about these spores, according to which we have to study the pteridophytes. Now in some cases all the spores produced are of same kind. Alright, all the spores produced are of same kind. In majority of the pteridophytes it happens that all the spores produced are of same type, same kind. Such pteridophytes plants are called as homosporous. Means homosporous pteridophytes means homosporous plants means those pteridophytes which produce same kind of spores. But in some cases, for example, Selaginella and Salvinia, what happens? Different kinds of spores are formed. Two different kinds of spores are formed. One is macro and other is micro. Evident by the name. Micro means small and macro means big. Now this microspores are called as microspores. Small ones are called as microspores, and macro means bigger ones are called as megaspores. Okay. So in some pteridophytes, for example Selaginella and Salvinia, the spores produced are of two types. What are they? Macro and micro. Micro are called as microspores and macro are called as megaspores. And listen carefully here. Microspores are the male spores and megaspores are the female spores. Alright. Two kinds means they are of, one is male and other is female. Male is micro and female is macro or megaspore. Now these megaspores and microspores in turn of their life cycle, from here we are studying. Okay. Now these macro and microspores, they will germinate to form gametophyte. Now as these spores are of different kinds, means one is male and other is female, they will form different gametophytes. Means megaspores will form female gametophyte and microspores will form male gametophyte. Understood here? See the life cycle. There is somewhat complication also. You have to understand it. Gametophyte, which is haploid in condition, will produce what? Will have male and female sex organs, Antheridia and Archegonia. Antheridia is the male and Archegonia is female. Now see, in homosporous condition, homosporous means same kind of spores. So same kind of only single type of gametophyte will be produced, and this gametophyte will bear Antheridium and Archegonium, that is male and female sex organs. But in heterosporous condition, as just now we studied, in heterosporous condition, what will happen? There will be a different male gametophyte and a different female gametophyte. Why? Because microspore will germinate to form male gametophyte and megaspore will germinate to form female gametophyte. Alright? So here we have two kinds, homosporous and heterosporous, according to which their gametophytes will be there. So gametophyte will form male and female sex organs, and in case of heterosporous there will be male gametophyte and female gametophyte. Male gametophyte will produce will have Antheridia, female gametophyte will have Archegonia. Antheridia produces male gametes that is antherozoites. Archegonia produces female gametes, that is egg. Usually always egg is single, female gamete is single and male gametes are more in number. So what happens? Antherozoites are released from antheridia. They travel through water and reach to the mouth of Archegonia, enter the Archegonia. Inside they get egg. Fertilization or fusion takes place inside Archegonia. Remember, all these things are asked in questions, in exams, in MCQs, also in competitive exams. Where does the fertilization takes place? So remember, in pteridophytes, fertilization takes place inside Archegonia. Fertilization, that is fusion, will take place. It will result in the formation of zygote. See, these are all haploid conditions, gametes. Now here fertilization has taken place. Now this is zygote, 2n. Zygote will develop to form embryo. Embryo means these all will germinate to form sporophyte. This again will be 2n. This again will be 2n. Sporophyte is the means diploid. Sporophyte is the dominant phase of the life cycle and is multicellular, well differentiated into root, stems and leaves. Sporophytes will bear sporangia. Sporangia will bear spore mother cells. Spore mother cells will undergo meiosis, and as a result of meiosis, spores will be formed. That means haploid. These spores will then germinate to form a new plant body or a new gametophyte. In case of homosporous plants, what will happen? Same kind of single gametophyte will produce. But in case of heterosporous plants, two different kinds of gametophyte will be formed, male gametophyte and female gametophyte. Alright. One more important thing in pteridophytes life cycle is the precursor of seed habit. Now here for the first time we have studied embryo. Till now we were studying fertilization takes place, zygote is formed, zygote grows, germinates into sporophyte. Now here what happens? Zygote develops and forms a distinct structure called as embryo. This embryo will grow to form sporophyte. Now this formation of embryo, a new condition, this is the condition which further when we will study the higher plants, you will see seed habit. So this formation of embryo from zygote is the precursor of seed habit in higher plants. Okay, hope you all have understood it well. This is all for today's class. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.